and I'm hoping we end this one with a real banger of a match.
Oh, most definitely. We see who is going to play where. We got on the blue side today, SPS, up in the top side, Mirk, in the jungle, Aurôra, in the mid lane, LJP26, in the bot lane, it's Kooops, and in support, Plëb.
Yeah, this is the similar lineup to what we saw earlier in this one. They are coming at it again, and really, they had a fantastic showing against Canterbury, and I'm excited to see if they can keep that momentum. But Merrimac as well also had a even better performance, arguably, against Craigsley as we take a look at their lineup. AC1002, their star top laner. In the jungle, it is DaddyoftheGrave, Jaycesph Stalin in the mid lane, CritterMiester on AD carry, and playing support, Wonderland Zero.
Yeah, wonderful team together there for Merrimac. Definitely looking very strong coming into this game. And obviously Aurôra, the card carry here for SPS, absolutely dominating last game on the Rengar. See if you can get that pick again and see what exactly they can do. We'd like to point out Merrimac Sparkle Squad shining bright with their fantastic little hats over there. You can see them on the far side of camera blinking very brightly.
There is a lot of sparkling going on. I believe that is the top laner AC1002 who is sparkling the most. He is the highest ranked player on the team. I believe he is a bit of a leader of sorts, as we've pointed out in the past. When AC1002 kind of struggles, so does the team. But when he's playing well, the team kind of rallies around him, and he is lighting the way with that unicorn hat, I believe. I think that's a unicorn. It's kind of hard to tell. In my heart, it's a unicorn.
Yeah, it's a unicorn.
It's a unicorn,
yeah, right.
So maybe we'll see Rocket Top.
Maybe. We'll see Rocket Top. Rocket Top's actually not terrible. You know, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the best thing in the world, but it's definitely not the worst.
Would you like to see it played today?
No, I'd rather see an Aurelian Soul.
Okay, well, so would I.
I think we will see an Aurelian Soul today. I think there's a very high chance
we
can see an
possibility
Aurelian
of Aurelian Soul today. I agree with that sentiment as we are loading into our picks and bans for our last time tonight. Well, last official time tonight. And right away, Malphite not going to be allowed on Jaycesph.
Yeah, LJP not wanting to deal with that Maokai coming at him again in the mid lane. Xayah here down in the bot lane, also taken away from Kooops, one of his favorite prized picks. St. Paul obviously first picking that last game. We'll have to see exactly what, but you'll see this is going to be a much more constructive, more meta-focused ban phase. You know, as you get higher and higher in the tournament, these stronger picks get prioritized. Jace, of course, taken away from the Jace one trick up in the mid lane. I think, you know, Jaycesph Stallin's pool is actually very good into LJP. They counter a lot of what he wants to play. Obviously, he wants to play those slow control mages, sit back, very immobile, and Jace plays a lot more of these hard kind of damage carries from, you know, putting long range poke, all these other unfamiliar mid laners, so potentially a little bit more difficult for SPS's mid laner to really deal with it. And interesting to see exactly what they ban out. Zoe taken away from LJP again.
Yes, this picks and ban's fascinating, and I'm deeply enthralled with what you're saying, but I can't help but be distracted at the moment by whatever in the world is on Aurora's head right now.
It's a pair of glasses with a...
Yeah, what is going on right there?
It's cable tie. It's his cable tie.
It's his cable tie on a pair of glasses.
Keeping the magpies away, my dude.
Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah, the magpie's going to come through and swoop him, but no longer. He's got the stick sticking up. He's ready to go. It's a marquee unicorn.
Okay, so is that what Merrimac's logo is? It looks like, you know, the eagle with the fire, but is it actually just like a magpie, like straight
it's a magpie,
from hell?
It's a magpie coming for you.
And Aurôra is prepared. I get it now.
Ooh,
anyways,
Mirk.
Our priority pick right there is going to be Mirk on that Riven, and that is not something we have seen yet.
Well, no, Riven's his one trick, so it's been banned against SPS pretty much every time. I mean, Riven one tricks can go either way, right? Riven's one of those champions who's very hard to play. You know, if you're good enough at Riven, sure, you can do bits, but if you're not that fantastic on the champion, or you know, it takes like hundreds and hundreds of games to actually get good at it. And AC1002 getting his prize now once again.
Yeah, he loves this Gnar, and he's going to be let through, so that will be a pretty quick lock into that Riven. So Gnar into Riven, I feel like it can be a challenging matchup for Gnar if the positioning isn't there, but
yeah,
if the positioning's correct, you can not only out-harass, but Riven jumping straight into Gnar and his ultimate could be a bad time.
Yeah, I mean, Gnar is, you know, very strong. DaddyoftheGrave, again, getting that Rek'Sai, which I really like to see out of him. Obviously had great early game tempo and really took over the game. I mean, I don't know, this game is going to go very much Mirk now on this Riven changed a lot of things, right? He's, you know, generally been that more passive tank player. I think he's like Silver 2 or Silver 3 or something like that. We see Aurôra maybe taking Maokai in the jungle, or could be Riven rotated to mid or a different role as well, and Plëb getting his Thresh once again. Very, you know, similar picks here from St. Paul's, but interesting to see both the Maokai and the Riven locked in. Oh, actually, no, Aurora's a Riven main, so it could be Riven jungle.
It could be Riven jungle, and that would be the Maokai taking top lane. I was getting really excited because I was hoping for a Maokai jungle. I really was. I believe that meta is not dead. I still live 5 years ago. Maokai, traditionally a top laner. We've seen it once before. It had a rough game against Darius earlier today.
It did. But it did win.
It did win.
And I do like Wonderland Zero back on this Taric. So obviously a prize pick of his last 3 games have all had the Taric in them.
Yeah.
So this champion now a little bit more familiar with it, a little bit of a more interesting champion, not really that I normally picked up, but of course on the tournament realm shall be locked in here for Wonderland Zero as we wait to see what the first ban is of the second phase.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see where these 80 carries will actually go, because so far today we've seen a lot of Xayah, actually. That's kind of been the premier AD carry for the show thus far. Who will be the one picking it up? We've also seen, some Sivers, some Ashes as well. Won't be seeing Bane, as that will be taken off the board.
Sona Taric?
Could be Sona Taric.
I don't think it's going to be a Sona Taric. I don't think people play that outside of Halo. It's very cheesy, but I mean, you could potentially look at it if you are on the side of Merrimac. Very interesting to see as well the Vladimir taken away from LJP and the Syndra being left up. Maybe that's strategic. I mean, it is finally banned away.
Yeah, Syndra will not be allowed for LJP. Neither that Zoe, so LJP's champion pool really being targeted. I do believe this player does do a Xerath as well. That is still available. I wouldn't be surprised if that's where St. Paul's eventually decides to go. It could also be an Ahri. I believe LJP has Ahri in that champ pool as well. Nico, though, will not be what is selected, as that will be that final ban targeting Jaycesph, Stalin, some more right there. So bans are in. Where will these last pick go? We're looking at mid laners. We're looking at 80 carries. I believe Merrimac should be focusing on their bot lane here.
Yeah, it would make sense to look in the 80 carry and give Jaycesph Stalin a counter pick in that mid lane. LJP has been one of those players who never really gets exactly what he wants, but blinding the Orianna, very safe blind picks, obviously wanting to have a good matchup in the bot lane, seeing exactly what they can pair with this Taric, but Orianna, very safe blind pick, not much you can really pick into it to counter it too hard, and Kooops taking off an Ezreal.
Yeah, so an Ezreal Thresh lane, that is a lot of early and mid-game damage coming from the side of St. Paul's. A lot of kill potential, actually, should they opt for that aggressive path. The alternative is Ezreal just go through the tier build, looks to scale later in this one. That would make sense with the Maokai. And once again today, we are seeing a Veigar locked in.
Oh, I don't like Veigar into Orianna. It's way too weak early on, and you kind of get outscaled super hard. I mean, interesting seeing Veigar outscale, but he definitely does. The Orianna works so much better with a comp than what the Veigar does, especially if you've got such effective ball delivery into the backline, such as the Rek'Sai, right? If Rek'Sai can get on top with his Veigar, nothing's really going to save him, not even the cage, right? Because you can use your ultimate to go unstoppable and go straight through, and also the ball delivery is so effective. Xayah, the final lock-in as well for Merrimac, I'm definitely liking their comp a lot more. Very similar to what they played the first game.
It is very similar, and I'm actually quite surprised they were able to get that Xayah. As I mentioned before, it's kind of been a priority all through the day, and for them to get it last is kind of a bit of a blessing for the Merrimac side. Obviously, Xayah Taric is a strong lane. We've seen it in action already today, and it did wonders for, I believe it actually was Craig's Lee in our last game, was it not?
Yeah, it was crazy that played the exact same bot lane here. I believe Merrimac played Xayah Taric as well in their first game. So CritterMiester, of course, back on this Xayah once again. Interesting champions across the board. I mean, I think, honestly, if I look at the lineups individually, I do like Merrimac's comp overall. I think it's a much nicer comp. It has a lot different win condition, different ways to play through the mid-game, obviously, in team fights. But you can never discount Aurôra on his main champion, alright? He is, Diamond 4 player. Riven one trick, so definitely has a lot of mechanical prowess on that champion. Is one of the most difficult champions in the game to play, I would say so, and can potentially turn a game around. So again, I think the rest of St. Paul's team doesn't look that threatening, doesn't look that great, but that you always can never count them out because of this jungler they have.
Yeah, but on the reverse side, you have to look at AC1002, another Diamond player, on his main as well, the Gnar. And we already saw how much damage he can do on this champion. Yes, DaddyoftheGrave might have been our pick for the MVP in that one, but it was a tight contention. I mean, AC won lane very, very hard on this Gnar, so I'm excited to sort of see these two higher elo players actually clash on their mains and see which one of the two can take over the game.
Interesting as well, Riven opting for 3 pots. Obviously, Riven does clear a lot lower, not being a traditional jungler. It means he will require a little bit more. So if DaddyoftheGrave's, really smart, I think he could potentially go for an invade here early on Aurôra and maybe get a lead that way. Obviously, demonstrating he knows how to path very well, dominating the early game early on, but AC1-0-0.
He gets hit by the death sentence, and he will go down level 1, going St. Paul's way.
Very, very greedy, especially because Aurôra picks up that kill as well. Definitely should have flashed immediately and not tried to keep that cooldown. A little bit greedy out of AC1-0-0-2 and gets punished overall.
Yeah, and point 1 going over to Aurôra, also the person who happened to pick up that kill. Like, less than a minute after I say, okay, here are the 2 people who are going to go into battle in this one. St. Paul's side gets that early advantage. So, we are on the Rift. This is our final game, and I want to get one last cheer out of this crowd for this one. So if you're a fan of St. Paul's or if you're a fan for Merrimac, let these high schoolers hear you. It is our final game. Let's have one last cheer for them.
It's not our final game.
Well, it's our last scheduled game.
The
last game is a surprise. No one knows what that last game is. Only we do. It's a surprise game.
No one actually knows. As we are now going into the game, see beautiful food here provided by the Ekka. We have a nice iced coffee with cream. It's kind of coming.
Yeah, so as Mitch is enjoying the tastes of the Ekka, it's important to take note of our jungle pathing in this one. Each jungler opting to start on the bot side of the map. They are going to be looking to mirror each other. Each of them can be quite aggressive early in this one, and eventually one of them will make their face known. If I'm a betting man, I'm going to say DaddyoftheGrave more likely is going to look for that early play, especially considering how disastrous the start was for the side of Merrimac. As you going okay over there?
This is a bit of iced coffee kind of everywhere.
What happened? I was focused on the game. I didn't even see you spill coffee all over me.
You just gave it to me. Tilted it on the side.
Merk and AC having a little bit of a skirmish up top at the moment. No damage really going too far in either direction. And nice death sentence, though, connecting onto CritterMiester. However, the return stun is there for Kooops, so the trade actually quite even on the bot side.
Yeah, I mean, both these sides, obviously, very even bot lane matchup, 2 mid-game spiking AD carries. You can definitely see Plëb has definitely a lot more kill pressure in lane with Kooops, but Xayah has a lot of lockdown as well. If she can land those roots, it could be potentially coming through with a lot of damage. The AC 1-0-0-2. Winning that matchup up in the top side, opting for the Doran's Blade as well, so a lot more aggressive start here out of the Gnar. And early pathing definitely favoring Aurôra. DaddyoftheGrave a little bit further behind, but definitely gonna have to wait and see exactly how he champion. He's cleared the jungle extremely quickly, actually.
Yeah, definitely 2 fast clears right now, but I'm very surprised on what Aurora is able to do. Already potentially looking to possibly invade or maybe look for a gank. Everyone on Merrimac's side needs to be careful. I don't think they understand how fast he can go. He makes his sights known mid lane. The event horizon held Jaycesph Stalin in place long enough that the flash had to be used, so a small victory once again for St. Paul's.
Yeah, now Orianna without that flash is going to be slightly more immobile up in this mid lane.
Jaycesph somehow wound up in Aurora's sights yet again. That will be another kill picked up for the blue side.
Yeah, Aurôra now 2-0 on this Riven is definitely obviously the key carry for SBS, and man, coming in very strong in this game. He's looking like Merrimac are going to be under the pump here a little bit early on. Down in gold, St. Paul's, especially on this Riven, once he starts get scaling, he's going to be very scary.
Yeah, a lot of eyes should be placed in that direction right now as Mirk up top, actually getting a lot of damage thrown onto AC, who's running to the help of DaddyoftheGrave, but Aurôra is here as well, and he's looking to fight a nice double stun. Mirk waiting to re-engage. They get the flash out of the Rek'Sai, but the tower is turning things around, and a flash forward from AC picks up 1. Mirk trying to flash defensively, but he's still getting chased. There are red buffs around. However, the flash gets him safely out of harm's way. Merrimac, get one back.
Yeah, unfortunately, AC 1-0-0-2 didn't have the hop available to jump on the minion to chase that down, or else that could have been a dead tree and a double kill going over to Merrimac. So something back on this side. The shutdown as well, going straight onto this Gnar, meaning we'll be evening up the gold lead right now. St. Paul's score very even in this game. With Merrimac, I mean, early on, as I said, like Merrimac's comp is definitely going to be better in this mid-game team fights. I think the Veigar is, and Veigar is not the greatest pick. I think it's a little bit useless, to be honest. I think Veigar is very hard to utilize properly in competitive play. Obviously, Niski's, one of the famous, best Veigars, is one that's actually going to bring it out on stage, right? Or someone like Froggen.
And Jensen.
Yeah, and Jensen as well. I forgot about Jensen and kind of playing. He's just kind of gone Mia on TL, you know what I mean? Double if Sim, not his team.
Wow.
Stayed on C9.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying.
Shots fired in a completely another country. Here in Australia, however, our eyes are currently on St. Paul's and Merrimac. Vision is currently secured for Merrimac around that first Mountain Drake. Not really going to do too much for it, though. I feel as if anyone from St. Paul's tries to contest that Vision, they could be collapsed upon.
Yeah, I agree. I think definitely looking a little bit scarier coming through. St. Paul's, I mean, you could see Aurôra on that Rengar in that very first game had a lot of easy picks, and it was one of the ones played around Vision very well, knowing exactly where it was, pathing and staying out of sight, out of mind. He looks maybe towards his bot lane or looking for an invade here on Merrimac's blue.
Yeah, there's a lot of options at the moment available for Aurôra in specific because of the hot start this Riven had. Yes, there was an early death involved, but still tempo definitely going in favor of St. Paul's jungle at the moment. DaddyoftheGrave, after that super strong performance in Game 2 today, really has been a step behind, and that just comes from really the comfort of the champion Aurôra has on this Riven.
Yeah, I mean, and that is Aurora's, comfort pick. Obviously, Riven jungle is something you kind of see players play every now and again. Box, of course, the most famous Riven one trick, I have to say, maybe besides like the Shy, bringing that champion out. So yeah, up the top side, very simple trade between these two tanks. Oh, sorry,
wow.
Pseudo tanks up here in the top side. I mean, you see DaddyoftheGrave is definitely very far behind Aurôra, right? About 10 CS, which is a big lead to have in the jungle, especially early on. Very low as well, clearing quite unhealthy, which is very interesting for Rek'Sai, who's definitely one of the best clearers usually in the game, but unfortunately maybe just building a little bit wrong or having those right jungle items completed at the right time, and as a result taking a little bit of damage and falling behind as Aurora's coming in for the top side.
Yeah, Mirk has his eyes set on AC. The Twisted Advance needs to connect. A quick little hop should keep AC alive. I doubt they'll go under tower for it, so unfortunately for St. Paul's, that gank not quite as effective as it could be. Meanwhile, in mid lane, LJP actually opting to teleport and not lose out on a lot of farms, but that is a lot of side lane pressure actually lost for St. Paul's, because with that teleport, neither Mork or LJP have that teleport available should a fight occur. AC still has his, as he's jumped upon with the Twisted Advance. Here comes Aurôra as well. A good ultimate out of Merk will keep AC in place, and it's an easy kill secured for this Riven.
Yeah, unfortunately, Gnar kind of knew that Riven was there and stepped over a little bit too far. Merk instantly turning around with their CC and does take down that little tiny Yordle. I mean, very good gank there from Aurôra, knowing to walk away, sit in the brush, clear the ward, make it look like he's walking away, and then come back and just sit there and look to turn. But however, knowing that Aurora's on that top side for so long, it looks like the Mountain Dragon could go over. But Plëb has stolen it before. Yeah,
we have seen a, clutch Thresh steal before, and really, just that hook over the wall is enough for Merrimac to drag it further out. They do not want a repeat of what we saw happen against Canterbury. It will be a dragon secured for the right side, so Mountain Drake in their favor. Yes, they're down 2 kills, but, something's definitely going right for Merrimac. And this is the kind of play that you like to see out of a team that's behind. Yes, your opponents might make a play on one side of the map, but if you can reactively play on the opposite end of the field, essentially, then you can stay competitive.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly the point. You're trading sides, trading weak side, strong side, knowing that obviously Aurora's going to be camping down this Gnar, trying to keep him down, but on the bot side of the map, Merrimac's side is only going to get stronger and stronger.
Yeah, as we are continuing to watch this one, yes, okay, top lane might be a small advantage at the moment for Merk because of those ganks and that pressure. Bot side, however, a bit of an advantage going over to CritterMiester. I believe it's a stronger lane, and that's being shown in that CS score. However, the difference in this game is coming from the jungle. Aurôra, nearly 20 CS up over his opponent, already feeling comfortable enough to cleanly invade and steal buffs.
Yeah.
And it's just becoming harder and harder, I feel like, for Merrimac's jungler, DaddyoftheGrave, to react to this, as once again AC1002 is jumped upon. He doesn't want to go that way because Aurôra is waiting, and with those buffs will easily pick himself up another kill.
Yeah, Aurôra here looking very strong. I feel like DaddyoftheGrave has just not been clearing very effectively on this Rek'Sai. In the first game he played, he had a lot of impact early on, was everywhere across the map, and just hasn't been doing that this game. Maybe he's a little bit scared of Aurôra, or maybe just not confident enough, but he just seems to be doing more fighting, because Rek'Sai is so strong early on.
No, that is not where DaddyoftheGrave wanted to be. Another kill picked up for Aurôra, and St. Paul's, they're up 5 kills to 1. All 5 of them are on this jungler right now.
Yeah, you see Aurôra, obviously, their main carry here, getting stronger and stronger, and it's looking like a game that is Merrimac's to lose. Oh, sorry, not St. Paul's to lose, not Merrimac's to lose. Looking very, very strong. That jungler there looking dominant.
Yeah, this is a fantastic performance so far for St. Paul's. Definitely playing around their strongest member on paper, Aurôra. He has been everywhere he needs to be and really shutting down who we're looking for to be the carry for Merrimac, AC1002. I was expecting him to have a standout performance here, but Aurôra not letting him get anything in this one.
Yeah, it's one of those Smurf tops versus Smurf jungle. What's better? I mean, personally, I think a solo lane Smurf is much stronger. However, if you get shut down like this is the evidence to the contrary. It's definitely not the most optimal strategy, but I feel like in a solo lane, you can definitely push your lead more, but not if you're getting constantly camped, as is what's happening to AC 1002.
Yeah, it's very much going in favor of St. Paul's at the moment, but we're still early in this one, just past 10 minutes. It's only a 2.5k gold lead, and if you're Merrimac, you need to start putting more pressure on the opposite side of the map. We gave them props when they went ahead and they got that dragon. I want to see that transition into some kills in the bot lane. Let's start getting CritterMiester and Wonderland Zero more involved in this game.
Yeah, DaddyoftheGrave now 25 CS down. He needs to go and do something. 30 CS down now. He needs to go and gank. You know, it's a Rek'Sai. That's his design for it. It's not designed to farm. It's not designed to scale later. You need to gank and get kills early on. He just has not been doing that in Aurôra. The one that's been more scaling is now got a Yomu's Ghostblade completed on this Riven.
Yeah, opting for the Ghostblade before the Smite item has been completed.
Yeah, exactly. Just showing that absolute dominance, wanting to get that snowball already, that extra lethality up in this early game. I mean, 11 minutes in and one completed item is absolutely huge as well. The Sunfire case doing completed on Maokai as well, so he's going to be very hard to take down. Ooh. Already starting to outscale this Gnar in tankiness. I mean, maybe unless Gnar goes for the high split push build, starts going Blade of the Ruin King, Phantom Dance, such items like that start really taking over. Stalin is really the only option I think Merrimac have available to them.
That was a cheeky death sentence over the wall, not wanting to commit. Plëb doing the smart thing. I think that could have been turned around very poorly for St. Paul's side. Aurôra has found DaddyoftheGrave, and that's going to be enough to scare the Rek'Sai back into the safety of his own jungle, unless Aurora's going to go hunting for it. Meanwhile, up top, Mirk doing so much work against AC 1002. This Gnar has to be very careful because every trade is going to go in favor of the tree.
Yeah, I mean, that is the case. So much healing on the Maokai side. I mean, to be able to sit back and just trade back a lot of those damage as a passive, just doing so much work. I know Maokai is one of those champions you don't expect to do a lot, but, you know, in solo queue, you've seen many solo kills coming down on a Darius by Maokai, something like that, just because he's able to out-heal whatever he's doing once he gets a couple of items under his belt.
Yeah, that is the potential. Mirk, you know, kind of staring down at the moment, looking for any possible opening. It's in mid lane. Event Horizon did come down, trying to catch out Jaycesph Stalin, who was able to kind of slink away. Had to use Flash, though, so a critical summoner gone from the mid lane. I wouldn't be surprised if Aurôra heads back up there soon. Mirk, meanwhile, knocking back DaddyoftheGrave, has to Flash. Box is dropped. The ultimate is being used by Wonderland Zero. Here comes Aurôra, trying to chase members down, waiting for the Taric ult to run out, and all of a sudden, Wonderland, in a lot of strife, will be able to walk out. Up above, DaddyoftheGrave getting chunked out by Mirk, has to defensively flash as well, so top and bot lane each going St. Paul's way.
Yeah, Mirk winning the 2-on-1, which is very impressive given the fact that he's into that very difficult lane, taking down almost DaddyoftheGrave there, and on the bot side, a fantastic Cosmic Radiance to keep CritterMiester and himself alive, but that second dragon will be going over to St. Paul's side as a result of this intense jungle pressure that Aurora's putting down.
Yeah, and it will be a Mountain Drake for St. Paul's as well, so each team now has those same buffs when it comes to taking down neutral objectives as well as towers. Mirk still bullying AC 1002. Has to be careful because Gnar is about to go mega. Ultimates are available for each side at the moment, but Mirk still winning this trade. Does not quite get him into the wall, so AC 1002 has to run back defensively. Very good play by Mirk.
I mean, just Maokai is just way too healing, way too tanky. He's got that Sunfire cape, so it was negating all the damage that's coming through from this Gnar. Gnar, of course, also having to go Ninja Tabai, so his Black Cleaver is getting denied further and further. I mean, once that Cleaver comes through, he'll be able to do, you know, a little bit more to this Maokai, you know, doing that armor shred over time. The more times you hit it, the more armor you shred. So, you know, potentially something to take him down, but it's just going to be taking way too long for Gnar to get these items. You know, maybe having to go Blade of the Ruin King. You know, the Frozen Mallet not doing a lot against the Maokai, so I think this Maokai is very quickly going to be stronger in this side lane in terms of being unkillable. Gnar will definitely have to push and minion wave control, but in terms of being able to secure kills, Aurôra and Mirk are going to be almost unstoppable in these side lanes.
Yeah, that is definitely what I see happening as we move forward in this one as well. And if you are Merrimac, it's all about slowing the pace of the game down, I feel like, at this stage. Trying to regain tempo in some facet. I do agree earlier in this game, DaddyoftheGrave needed to be more impactful with his ganks, but I think it's almost too late, and I'm going to be a little bit critical of that warrior enchantment taken. It's time to go full take Rek'Sai. Let's go back a couple years. You need to be able to survive, sustain, and possibly peel for CritterMiester, who will be your main source of damage.
Yeah, exactly. CritterMiester here wanting to be that #1 contender up in that damage charts. Obviously, AD carry and the Xayah in particular is one of the strongest mid-game AD carries, mainly because of the fact you don't actually have to go Ezreal item. You can go for those two big crit items, Infinity Edge and Essence River with the attack speed boots, because you have so much attack speed on your W active, right? So you can kind of help curve out that attack speed loss and still do a lot of DPS and just burst with those feathers and that just straight up AD and crit chance.
Yes, however, still needs to hit 2 items before it really has that impact. And unfortunately for CritterMiester, we're still sitting at 15.5 minutes in, which is reasonable.
Yeah.
But it does mean we're still another 10 minutes or so away from the Xayah really being online. And that means Merrimac needs to play this defensive game. But, nearly 16 minutes into this one, no towers have fallen yet. Merrimac is making it difficult for St. Paul's to snowball this.
Oh, and Kooops as well on this Ezreal. Just trying to get close towards those mid-game items. He has cheaper items than the Xayah, right? So even if he might be a little bit behind in gold and CS, I think the Klepto keeping them even means that he's going to be getting those items faster and ends up doing the damage. Also, as you can see here down the bottom, Kooops is 500 gold behind.
Yeah, but look at the jungle gold difference. 3K as here comes another gank on that bot side. Aurôra, she's going to try to get the CritterMiester. A beautiful play into the juice up rush, but it's all blocked by the damage from Wonderland Zero. That said, Aurôra still finds that backline, takes down the Xayah, and is looking for one more. That sentence does connect. Tarek will go down. 2 more kills for St. Paul.
That's just unfair. Like, that is so unfair. That was such a great play out of Merrimac, just landing everything perfectly. The 3-man route with all the feathers pulled through from the Xayah, and yet Aurôra just way too strong on this Riven, healing way too much damage back. And come on, right? Balance this goddamn champion. So goddamn strong. And winning against all that damage. And Merrimac unfortunately doing absolutely nothing. And I fear that Aurôra is just way too strong and will just wipe the game here for St. Paul's.
Yeah, and this is exactly the point I was making before. Yes, CritterMiester is going to have to be that carry for Merrimac, but you still need to wait for one more item. And even though everything lands and everything goes in their favor to turn that fight around, they're not quite there yet where they can actually look for these fights. And once again, kind of a theme we've been seeing for the day, the early team has been just taking over. It's been these early game team comps that have been winning time and time again, except for in our game number 1. You have to remember, League of Legends, it's not as if the early game is going to win every single game. It's just happened to be how today has gone.
Precisely. It's not always the same. It's just that early game at the moment in these comps are, easy to close out. I think the biggest weakness that, well-ranked players and teams as a whole have is really working through that mid-game and late-game phases. I think everyone can lane pretty well. I think that's a big thing between challengers who come through in Smurf and like Silver and Gold. It's really still hard to everybody because there are big issues in lane, but they say, look, they don't actually lane terribly. Their lane phase isn't the worst. It's just in the mid game, in the late game, they don't know where to do, they don't know where to stand, and it's very difficult for them to actually take out games. So even though they may have won a game in lane phase, they're not closing the games out as cleanly as they should be, and as a result, the games go longer, the games are, flip-flop, go back and forth, and comebacks are very much a thing as see St. Paul's chasing down the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of see a bit of that right there with Merrimac getting that tower. A clutch stun from Wonderland Zero is not going to be enough because Aurôra is coming from that backside, was able to cut down CritterMiester. Wonderland Zero now on the runaway. The kill will actually be given over to Kooops, so I do like that. Aurôra is recognizing, I've got 7 kills, I have enough. You go ahead and have one, Kooops. Up top as well, Mirk going for that tower dive onto AC. About to go mega, and won't get there in time. Mirk secures the kill up top, and St. Paul's are up 10-1.
Yeah, I feel like this is pretty much over for Merrimac here. They can't come back much in this game. Still Daddy of the Grave.
Daddy of the Grave looking for it, but with that heal from the grass, Mirk might be able to survive. Flashing under tower is Daddy of the Grave. Still cannot find it, and this Daddy has to run away. Mirk standing tall.
I mean, I feel like this game at this point is kind of just, it's just over. Like, Merrimac just can't kill anyone on St. Paul's. They're just way too strong. And I feel like when they finally have team fights, Ezreal's got 2 items completed. Maokai's unkillable up at the top side. Riven's going to be, pretty much unkillable as well. And this jungle's going to be super strong and just doing way too much damage. Once Conqueror props Plëb as well, landing those death sentences, and then all you're going to do is just LPJ sitting at the back because no one's going to be looking at him because everyone else is doing the damage, and he'll just come in and do a cheeky ult and blow somebody up on the backside, and you're going to be like, what happened to my game? What happened to my screen? Why is it grey?
That was a cheeky Hex Flash play right there from Plëb, looking for the death sentence. Not going to find it this time around. It's really fun to see Hex Flash actually being used because I rarely see it in my games, and so I'm greatly enjoying that. Aurôra kind of in a 1v2 situation isn't that strong, or is he? Plëb with that play forcing AC back, but AC flashing forward after it's not going to find the kill. Hill will go down.
Perfect animation canceling there from Aurôra actually just using it all perfectly, getting the ultimate out as well without seeing that animation come through. If I don't know what I mean when I say animation cancel, basically every time you press a button, you know, an animation will happen. For example, that little flash there from Ezreal over the wall, you know, animation occurs, but there are certain champions and certain abilities you can press that actually cancel the animation. So the effect still happens, but without any visual cue or visual delay, which means the effects come out a lot faster, and it's a little bit harder for enemies to react.
Oh, Mirk is making the aggressive play in the 2v1. CritterMiester's like, okay, let's see what I can do. The answer is actually not that much. This tank is so big. Mirk has the Stunfire, has an additional Chain Fest, has an additional Giant Spell. It is so hard to bring down right now, as actually a bit of help now arriving for the side of Merrimac. It's the 3v1. The teleport's coming through as well. They really want to take this tree down. Mirk buying time's going to run towards the enemy jungle, but DaddyoftheGrave will find it. The kill will be secured. It took 4 members, but they get it done.
4 members and 2 ultimates used to take them down. Rift Herald popped up in that top side as well, but to what loss here? All of St. Paul's up on the top side. Aurôra will back, and it looks like they're going to give up this objective. So something back for Merrimac, a little bit of shining hope too. Mountain Dragons are on the side of St. Paul's though. Cloud Dragon spawning next. So this Baron is, you know, very much theirs to take. 21 minutes into the game is now up, and looks like the Rift Herald caged, but doesn't affect the Rift Herald actually.
Yeah, I really like that play actually from St. Paul's, expecting Merrimac to follow up with the Rift Herald, and they had a death push set up. Merrimac, however, is deciding to rotate towards that mid lane, try and get that last tier 1 tower down. And give Merrimac credit. Yes, they're losing these team fights, but they're still playing the map. They're still playing their objectives. And this is a sign of a team that knows what they're doing. And really, as a result, this is one of the closest games we've seen. Death Sentence going to miss AC 1002 right there. Will dodge the event horizon as well. So Merrimac, they don't get that mid tower. They get the top one. They expelled a lot to get it, but it's keeping them competitive in this match.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is, right? Merrimac just trying to stay in this game. 6k gold down, and I feel like we still haven't had a team fight, right? And the second we do, I feel like Aurora's going to come in on a mad flank and just decimate the back line.
Yeah, or in return, you know, if Aurôra gets found out early, maybe Merrimac is going to be able to burst this Riven down if they can chain that CC. And without Aurôra, because so much gold has been put into this Riven, there is a chance for Merrimac to win these fights. Yeah. This game is still quite close despite the score.
I mean, you say I feel like it's maybe, you know what I mean? Yeah, sure, it's still close right there, especially in the jungle. Not the jungle, sorry, the mid lane here. The Orianna ball delivery onto like something like the Rek'Sai could definitely disrupt a team fight or change it. But I just feel like Aurora's Riven is just so clean that there's like, we say like in this meta, one tricks are so much more important than you know, actual meta, right? That's what the low elo is. But this is Aurora's one trick, and it's also a meta champion. So it's one of those situations where Aurôra, one of the best players in the game, if not the best player in the game, on their best champion, who is actually competitively viable as well. It's just instant disaster for the enemy team.
Yeah, and I mean, when I say it's still close, it's still St. Paul's advantage. Yeah. It's just a case that there is an out for Merrimac, and I have to give credit to how well they have been playing the map as a whole. However, St. Paul's has been controlling the tempo much more. Aurôra has been phenomenal in this game. Mirk as well up top has just been a real thorn in the side of Merrimac, and something that they have been struggling to handle with how tanky this Maokai has become. Yeah. So even if Aurôra might fall, with how much resources might have to be spent to take him down, it kind of means Mirk just becomes invincible by proxy.
Oh, straight up, bro. Mirk is already invincible. She's still stacking on more armor, not worried about the damage that this Orianna's going to do. Obviously, having to go for Zhonya's to keep herself alive, so the damage she's going to be putting on it will be minimized. And I feel like by the time Orianna starts doing a little bit of damage, the Spirit Visage will be picked up, and then Mirk will literally be unkillable. I feel like once he gets Warmogs and Spirit Visage, you can't take him down. I mean, that's it. You can't kill it.
As we see a bit of an interaction happening up top, Mirk, you know, showing off some of that invincibility, does not care that DaddyoftheGrave and the tower are wailing on him.
I don't even think a Fountain Laser could. Ooh, it's like the Scion. If you go 5 Warmogs, you can literally stand on a Fountain Laser and it can't kill you. Same with a Mundo when he presses ult. You just stand there and it just doesn't do enough damage. Even though it's doing like true damage and it stacks up, it literally just can't kill you.
As all this was going on, and Cloud Dragon had just been picked up by SPS as well, so another neutral objective going in favor of the blue side. St. Paul's still have complete control of this match. I'm a little bit surprised they haven't made any play on the top side of the map towards that Baron pit, but really they haven't needed to. There's been a slow, steady push, a slow, steady increment gold lead building in their favor, but eventually something will have to give. AC1002 actually stepping up quite far, caught in the circle of the event horizon, but not going to find that stun, so In the end, no fight will break out. As this is happening, Aurôra, just going to town on the bot side of the map, will actually find yet another tower.
Yeah, just trying to move down here, moving it slowly through this, methodically taking out the map from everyone here on the side of St. Paul's. Aurôra attracting 3 members up in this side lane while the rest of St. Paul's wailing on this mid lane tower. DaddyoftheGrave trying to deal with Mirk up there, but Jaycesph Stalin.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of damage coming from Jaycesph Stalin, looking for that solo play onto Kooops. Plëb, however, will drop the box, and that will keep the Ezreal alive. A near fantastic pick, but LJP going through the jungle. The Event Horizon was able to connect down below as well. AC1002 is actually going for the 1v1 with Aurôra. Finally, CritterMiester showing up to help, but Aurôra will escape through the jungle. LJP still alive, gets some help in the form of Mirk, and with that, they turn it around and take down DaddyoftheGrave. A huge pickup, but it was 1-for-1. So, across the map, we are even. A couple little skirmishes actually going Merrimac's way.
Yeah, I mean, this is the stage where Merrimac, obviously, 2 items now completed on the Xayah. Interesting going for the Rune's Hurricane. I don't know if the bug is still in the game where it could actually put extra feathers down. I feel like that was a thing that happened every now and again, but I don't think it's synergizes perfectly with Rune's Hurricane. I think either a Rapid Fire Cannon could have been a little bit stronger, or the Phantom Dancer as well to keep yourself alive, especially against this fed Riven. But we see tower going down, so Merrimac getting something back in this game. I mean, they are still like 8k gold down, which is a very large deficit to have, but it's still not all over. You know, as I said, you know, they do have a better actual team comp. The team abilities work better together, and so that's something that's still definitely in their favor. And if they land their big wombo combo, could still turn a fight around even from this much gold down, especially if Aurôra isn't there, or if they take down Aurôra before the fight.
I also feel like Merrimac has done a great job of every time St. Paul's makes one little mistake, they capitalize on it. You know, one little misposition, all right, sweet, we're going to blow everything on that top lane, but we're going to get that tower. A couple weird skirmishes in the jungle. Okay, it went 1-for-1, but guess what? We're going to take advantage of that, and we're going to get another tower. Like, every little inch St. Paul's gives, Merrimac is hungry and ready to take it. And that is why St. Paul's has to be very careful, even with this lead they have.
Yeah, exactly. St. Paul's, of course, they are very far ahead, but it's still only 12 kills. It's not the biggest lead in the world. It's not the biggest we've ever seen. And 27 minutes into this game, you see these comps starting to come more online. These team fights more important. And I think the Baron is going to be the big breaking point for this game. If St. Paul's can take it, take a couple kills, or just take it cleanly, I feel like it's almost over for Merrimac here. But on the other side, if Merrimac can land a huge team fight and turn it around and get an ace on St. Paul's, I feel like we could turn this game back around on its head, even up that gold significantly, and really be into a very even matchup.
I would love to see these two teams play a best-of series, as opposed to a best-of-1, like a best-of-3, or even a best-of-5. I imagine it would actually be phenomenal because they are so evenly matched in terms of skill. Yes, it was a fantastic start for St. Paul's, but that was a strategy. They came into this knowing, you know what, we are going to shut down who we see is Merrimac's best player in AC1002, force him to like really get into this game late. And in AC1002's credit, he has fought back, but kind of caught out right there by the Denzens into the Event Horizon, but a huge Terror Cold keeps him alive. All of a sudden, Mirk's on that back line, but here comes Aurôra. He gets the kill on AC, and he has Wonderland in his sights. Terror has to flash defensively, as on the backside, that is a Xayah and an Ezreal going at it. Kooops is actually the one popping off, has the double kill. Mirk leading the charge with Aurôra, trying to find more. A huge Denzens finds this Orianna. Jaycesph Stalin will get cut down by Kooops in the end. He is unstoppable. Up above, there is another kill. There is your ace. St. Paul's looking phenomenal in this one.
And St. Paul's unfortunately unable to end the game. No minion waves in position, but should be moving straight over to this Baron and picking up that big objective for themselves. So that's a big win for them, and looking like very dire straits for Merrimac. We did say, you know, whoever this Baron goes over to, this is going to be the deciding factor. St. Paul's, of course, getting that pick, getting that crucial fight. Plëb landing that death sentence, sentencing AC1102 to death, and that big purple worm too, as it goes down now and over to St. Paul's score.
Yes, and we mentioned this at the very start as well. With the Merrimac team, they love to play around AC1002. St. Paul's attacking it again and again. As I'm mentioning, you know, they seem to be focusing this Gnar. Look who they pick out. It's the Gnar. And after Gnar falls down, Merrimac's side just seems to crumble. Now we're seeing an Infernal Dragon going to St. Paul's to go along with the Baron. St. Paul's is so strong at the moment. They have all of the buffs in their favor. A fast recall means a fast reset. And Merrimac, it's time to play the strongest defense of your careers because your Ekka stage game depends on it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this game is it's so hard for Merrimac to win from this point. There is almost no scenario, even if they end a perfect team fight, I still feel like St. Paul's are just way too strong and have way too much damage to actually fight back and survive it. I feel like the Baron buff is, you know, always going to be available. Merk is not going to die, I don't think, for the rest of this game. I think Aurôra as well, now he's picked up 3 items, got the GA as well. It's going to be very hard to take him down. I feel like once he gets their stance, he's also going to be unkillable on this Riven. Obviously level 16 already, it looks like that's going to be the next item. He's building towards his final item, all 6 almost completed, and we see...
AC again has been found by St. Paul's side, and the Gnar is gone. This could be the opening of the floodgates. A death sentence lands onto Wonderland 0, and the follow-up damage is there. The ultimate will buy some time trying to turn it around. Up above, Aurora's GA actually does get popped. So a small victory for Merrimac, but at what cost? Jaycesph Stalin goes down. Daddy of the Graves goes down. It is another ace for St. Paul's School, and with that, they are going to take this game.
And St. Paul's Schools look like they are the second best team in Queensland, finally taking down Merrimac. A very nice game from them overall. Strong performance out of Aurôra in the Riven. This is why you don't give those diamond players their one tricks. I think Merrimac learned that the hard way, giving KG4 Aurelia in the first game of the best of 5 final, but apparently didn't learn well enough. St. Paul's also getting that Riven and taking down the final game of today.
Yes.
Well,
final official game of the day. St. Paul's, they looked fantastic in that one. It was the battle for unofficial second place in Queensland, and they got it done. So a huge congrats to that team. I know our producer's telling me third, but no, I'm pumping them up to second. I'm giving them that boost, the caster boost. Number 2 team.
You guys Merrimac in the final. It's second, right? Oh, well, there we go. So it's a third
Apologies
place.
to Callum Vale out there. They were the team in the finals, not Merrimac. My apologies.
Whoops.